Morning guys, welcome back to Hayling Island Sailing Club, and this weekend's a bit different. It is the SUP podium for the Water Skills Academy. So about 200 stand-up paddleboarders have arrived at Hayling Island Sailing Club for what should be a cracking weekend. Before we move on to that, I'm about to say, maybe in 10 seconds, something that applies to all windsurfers. But before that, what do these three clips have in common? Yes, that's right. The dreaded no wind scenario. Well, if you windsurf, you know all about this. You know about getting down to the beach and not being able to go windsurfing, not being able to get planing. So today, I'm going to answer the question, can you stand up paddleboard on your windsurf? So, I've just carried all four of my boards down to the beach. A couple are in retirement, so I've left them to rest. But what I'm going to do this morning is hop on each of these and have a go at stand-up paddleboarding. So stick around for some comedy dismounts, no doubt. Let's see how we get on. Okay, here we go. First board, this is my 85 litre RRD wave board. I typically take it out in 25 plus knots. Well, let's have a go at paddleboarding, shall we? Off we go. What can possibly go wrong? One more go. So, board number two. This is very typical of what most modern windsurfers turn up with at the beach. It's a Taboo bullet, 125 litres, easily buoyant enough for me to uphaul. And let's see how the paddleboarding goes. Yeah, I'm up. Oh, let's go for second attempt on the free ride board. Here we go, 125 litres. Right, I'm up. While the tail's sinking. Oh, slight improvement on the wave board, but the freeride board is not much better. I could just about get paddling, but I'm so imbalanced. The tail was sinking. If I went further forward, probably the nose would sink. So this does not do the job. The freeride board is not good for stand-up paddleboarding. Right, next board. Okay, here we have board number three. It's almost a bit emotional holding this. Had so many good times, as with the other kit. The Big Techno, absolute icon of the late 90s. Quite a history to this one, involving, of course, the makers of Bic Baro. The industry was on its knees in the late 90s. And the owner of Bic, who was obviously a multi-millionaire, stepped in and said he was a lover of all things nautical, had a super yacht himself, but said, I'll help save the windsurf industry. I'll make an affordable board that will also be good. And this is a great board. It's absolutely indestructible, hence I'm still using it from time to time for light wind freestyle, and again in 18 to 25 knots, or if a friend comes down, it's great because it's very stable, and 150 litres. So, surely I can stand up paddleboard. Let's see, 150 litres. Well, better, but still not good enough. Still not good enough. Well, saw I could just about get up, but the rails are so rounded, the sides of the board are so rounded, that every time you paddle, the board swings from left to right and overcompensates. It does not track. It would never go in a straight line. So the big techno, board number 3, unless you're just having a little play. But even then, you want to be able to stand up. That's the whole idea. That's why it's called stand up paddleboarding. So no to board number 3. And board number 4, here we go. I can barely lift this thing. It's my starboard Phantom 377, nearly 4 meters long. Most windsurfers these days are not sailing a longboard. So when I say, can you SUP on a windsurf? This is just not representative of what most modern windsurfers are on. It's a race board. But let's give it a go. Well, there we go. I'd say I can sort of paddleboard on this race board. But fundamentally, you know what? It's not paddleboarding. This is hard work, really hard work. It's very narrow, it's got hard rails. I just prefer to do the proper thing on a paddleboard. It's wide, it's forgiving, it's more fun, and with this, particularly if you're starting, won't be any good at all. Stick with the stand-up paddleboard. I should caveat that I've been trying to balance on boards for 30 years. So anyone new to paddleboarding should be on a paddleboard. And if you want to give it a go, you can head to sandypointwatersports.com and hire a paddleboard. In the next video, I'm going to see whether I can harbour test that race board to see whether I can stand up paddleboard it across the harbour.